Hello everyone. Today we will tell you about the Selye stress model. I will start this presentation first and then we will continue with Merve, Rukiye and Hafize respectively. So I am starting. First, I will talk about Hans Selye. Who is Hans Selye? Hans Selye is founder of the stress theory. Professor Hans Selye, a Hungarian endocrinologist. Hans Selye is the first scientist to provide a scientific explanation of biological stress. After graduating from the German University in Prague in 1929, he worked as an assistant at the Institute of Experimental Pathology and the Histology Laboratory until 1931, when he received his specialization. In 1926, Selye began to develop his theory about the effect of stress on people's ability to cope and adapt to the pressure of injury and disease, which later became very famous. And Hans Selye has specialized in stress research. In 2009, his hometown, Hungary, honored his work with this stamp, which was published in conjunction with the second annual World Stress Conference. And he found that many of the findings shown by patients were related to their body trying to respond to the stress of being sick. He concluded that stress plays a role in the development of each disease and that situations where stressors cannot be dealt with will lead to adjustment disease such as ulcers and high blood pressure. He revealed that attrition, not stress itself, hurts us.
Selye's accepted definition of stress in the most general sense is the body's non-specific response to events. A notable component in Selye's definition is non-specificity. Although the factors that cause stress are very diverse, the bodily response is always the same. Selye's description includes stress factors that lead to both drunkenness and pain. The human body cannot define the distinction between pleasure and pain in a general sense. Both drunkenness and painful changes create the same stress response in the body, as they require adaptation. Adopting the right attitude can convert a negative stress into a positive one. Hans Selye. In 1936, endocrinologist Hans Selye conducted experiments on mice. He investigated the effects of a new hormone and expected that by injecting ovarian extract in laboratory rats, hoping to observe how this hormone affected them, the organism would undergo a change that could not be achieved with a non-sex hormone. Feral fell ill and bleeding ulcers formed around the stomach. Despite being bad for rodents, Selye was delighted because this fit the picture she was looking for. Finally, Selye was shocked by an insight. Maybe it's not what was injected, but the process of injecting. In other words, the mice got sick because the whole procedure was so stressful. And so a new idea was born. Stress is bad for your health. General Adaptation Syndrome. Selye described the three-stage response of the body in stressful situations as general adaptation syndrome. According to this rule, the organism's response to stress develops in three stages: alarm, resistance, and exhaustion. Hans Selye believed that the stress response causes aging and disease when we are chronically exposed to stress over time. Organisms want to maintain homeostasis. which is also known as a stable indoor environment, that is, their constant and balanced state. When an organism is subject to stress, the body is ready for the fight or flight response. General adaptation syndrome is the process the body enters to reach homeostasis. With the use of hormones, the body tries to return to this state as soon as possible. However, the system has some limits. Unexpected problems can arise when we are exposed to chronic stress.
These are the three biological stages in the body. We are aware of stress during the alarm period. For example, we went to a party but we have some social anxiety. The body starts to show some reaction in this situation. The body starts to sweat, the heart starts to pump a little faster. All of these when exposed to fight or flight. When we move to the second stage, there is resistance. Do you go to the people? Do you stay? If you stay, everything will get worse. If you go, the body balance returns to its normal stage. The body wants to go, but the individual wants to remain. Those who cannot deal with stress directly go to the third stage. Alarm period, the beginning of the stress. During the alarm period, the body reacts to the changed situation. The stress factor is stimulated by the hypothalamus pituitary system and the autonomic sympathetic system. In this first phase of stress, the resistance is lower than in normal times. Later, the body activities is defense resources, and if these defensive reactions are successful, the alarm stage begins to fade and the body returns to its normal activity. At this stage, the body secretes epinephrine, aldosterone, and cortisol. Stressors, organism fight or flight response. Some adrenaline release in the organism during this reaction. Increased solidity, breathing becomes faster, blood pressure rises. In this process, sometimes death occurs within a few hours. If the stressor is too strong for the organism to withstand. Resistance period. If defensive reaction towards self-protection are not successful, if stress continues, body activity and resistance begin to increase and this increase continues for a while, the greater than resistance, the weaker the body defense. The body releases noradrenaline at this stage. Most people cannot process to third stage. Eventually, serious physical symptoms such as allergies, high blood pressure, diabetes, ulcers, atherosclerosis can be seen. These physical symptoms also reduce resistance.
Exhaustion period. If the stressor is severe and continuous, the body consumes its energy reserves. If an unsurmountable harmony cannot be achieved with the sources of the stress, the physical potential is entered into the depletion stage. The person feels excited and is easily affected by other sources of the sight and alarm action repair. Eventually, the resistance is broken, serious illness and death might occur. Stages and types of burnout, depersonalization, indifference in the face of events, emotional burnout, decline in personal success. In short, Selye's general adaptation syndrome suggests that stressor tax the body via a force, process, and initial jolt, subsequent readjustment, and a later depletion of all physical resources. That ultimately lays the groundwork for serious health problems and even deaths. It should be pointed out, however, that this model is responses-based conceptualization of stress, focusing exclusively on the body's physical responses while largely ignoring physical psychological factors such as appraisal and interpretation of threats. Nevertheless, Selye's model has had an enormous impact on the field of stress because it offers a general explanation for how stress can lead to physical damage and thus disease. As we shall discuss later, prolonged or repeated stress has been implicated in development of a number of disorders such as hypertension and coronary artery disease. It is not stress that kills us, it is our reaction to it. Selye. Stress is a normal reaction that everyone experiences, contrary to what is known. In a negative or different situation, our body produces physical and mental reactions. Stress can often seem like a negative reaction, but as long as it is not at an advanced level, it is something our body needs. Stress responses allow us to keep up with the new situation. Thank you for listening.